Hello everybody and welcome to Decepticast episode 12. This week's episode's coming in a little bit late, sorry about that. Just had a bit of things going on this weekend that precluded me from really getting going on watching these replays you guys have been submitting. But I think you're going to be excited with the ones I ended up choosing, so let's get started with some player introductions. Our first game today is going to be a 3 versus 3. In the blue corner, we have Tripko / Ever playing the Chaos Lord. The second blue ally is Hydra playing the Chaos Sorcerer. And finally, we have PhoenixLight playing the Ulthway Farseer. On the clear other side, in the red corner, we have Bob the Despoiler playing the Mech Boy. His first ally, also labeled as Bob the Despoiler, but I'm not exactly sure who that is, but I am unable to check aliases from the place where I was. At any rate, he is also playing a Farseer, and their final ally is Mr. Shalesey playing the Warlock. So, let's get this game going. A typical opening for 3 vs 3. The two on this map tend to go cap this natural power and then double push bottom, while the one on either side go to their respective tops. Now, this map looks somewhat symmetrical, but like all Relic maps, it is slightly asymmetrical, and the slight asymmetry plays into how the map plays. Not sure the exact dimensions and where it is not exactly precise, but you know, it's just a silly thing to not have perfectly symmetrical maps in a strategy game. It's sort of the basis for all strategy games is that you're starting from an equal or as close to equal as possible footing, and then it's strategy and skill that overwhelm the other player. Exactly. So we've got a little bit of an engagement here. Looks like Shalesey is suffering some model losses on that Guardian squad, but it hides in that building, and PhoenixLight does not have anything to get those units out of that building, so they're gonna be able to get out of there safely. And again, yes, this building is one of the asymmetries of this map that plays into it so heavily. So this building can perfectly defend or be used to harass that power. And meanwhile, we've got Hydra coming in to support PhoenixLight. PhoenixLight, by the way, the diet version of a regular Phoenix. He's only a few calories as opposed to the more meaty meal that full-on, regular Phoenix would be. So anyone who's out there watching their weights, that's a pretty good little tip there for you. You want to go for PhoenixLight, not regular Phoenix. We have a Heretic wipe there, pretty early there. Hydra losing that squad. But ultimately, they're going to have to get out of there without it being able to cap that. That's usually how this opener goes, again, because of this building being so close to the victory point for this team. And being able to protect the power. This building can almost do that same thing, except for if you notice this range is a bit longer, and these windows don't quite open up as directly as these windows do to protecting or harassing that. Furthermore, this building can cover both of these two channels into here, while this building covers these two, but not this one as much, and not this one. So, as you can see right off the bat, red team is getting the advantage. There's a bit of a clash going on in mid now. We've got Bob the Despoiler number 2's Farseer and Banshees, and I'm sorry to whoever that is that I did not figure out what your name was before starting this recording. Looks like that Chaos Sorcerer is going to go down, not able to get away from those Banshees, their combined Guardian and Farseer fire. We're getting some upgrades out. We've got a Ghost Helm for this Farseer. We've got a Combi Flamer coming up for the Chaos Lord, and we do have the Def Gun for the Mech Boy, who is able to control the middle up here quite nicely. Did drive out Tripko, but Tripko's coming back in with force. And meanwhile, the actual Bob the Despoiler is moving down for a Gen Bash. However, he's going to encounter Hydra here. And meanwhile, there's another encounter going on down here. PhoenixLight does have Rangers. His Guardians are going to have to get out. Banshee, double whale, suppressing all kinds of nonsense. That Farseer is looking quite low. And the Rangers are also going to retreat, but retreat straight through the Banshees. And that's not going to be good. Another Ranger squad from Shalesey did just shoot them as well. So that Ranger squad does go down to Banshee slicing. Looks like the Combi Flamer was very effective here in driving out Bob the Despoiler, the original. Bob the original. And Red Team is getting a lot of caps up here, and a Gen Bash as well. Meanwhile, Blue Team has not had a successful Gen Bash, and are going to be behind on power. There are some Havocs now for Hydra that are going to be able to deal with these Banshees quite nicely and force them out. However, there are Rangers for Shalesey, so they're not going to be able to completely dominate this bottom fight. For those of you who don't know, Rangers do have a knockback shot that they can use not only to defend themselves from approaching melee, but they can also use it to de-set up a setup team to allow you know, Banshees or some other melee to close in. These Banshees are running in through a hail of Guardian fire and actually grenades. Shalesey grenading on his own Rangers to try to take those Banshees out. However, the Banshees do manage to get that Ranger squad down. So PhoenixLight and Shalesey have just traded Ranger squads there. And now Blue Team's actually able to make a decent push on this this power node. Now you'll notice Hydra is not using this building now, even though, as we talked about earlier, it can be used to harass this power gen. And the reason for that is because, well, you don't want to get in a building unless you have to, because you never know what's coming. You know, he might get in it, and then there could be some stealthed Guardians here, stealthed by a Farseer Webway Gate, that then double grenade his Havoc and kill it. These Sluggers are in a little bit of a tight spot, but it looks like they're going to be able to get out, even with the Chaos Lord intercepting. Meanwhile, Double Shooter with Big Shooter are trying to get that power node, but are going to double back a little bit here as Tripko's forces push up. Meanwhile, we do have Tzeentch Worship stealthing all of this business as these Guardians get in that building. Building's not going to be perfectly effective in this situation, as there will be a Sorcerer encroaching eventually, and Doom Bolt is effective against units in buildings. These Banshees, however, are in a lot of trouble. Shalesey waiting a little bit too long before retreating. Now, if Hydra refocuses fire, those could go down, but it doesn't look like he's going to be able to, and with 72 hit points, they're able to get out. Everybody going tier 2 now, except for PhoenixLight. Both Bob the Despoilers are tier 2 already, as well as Tripko, who is still able, he's actually turning this around now on Bob the Despoiler, the original, but it looks like a Death Dread's going to change that up quite nicely, as Tripko does not have at the moment any actual AV. This Warlock can also Destructor these units for damage, however it may be on cooldown, or perhaps he doesn't have enough energy. And in comes the Death Dread, just doing a sync kill there on those Heretics, tossing one aside like it was nothing, because in fact a Heretic to a Death Dread is nothing. Looks like the Death Dread is going to keep chasing those Heretics, surprisingly, as the Sluggers are about to get themselves killed. Oh, only 2 models left. 3 models. Nope, 2. At 56 hit points. Oh, it was only 1. There was a sync kill going on, so it looked like there were still 2. However, there were clearly not. Uh-oh, Warlock not doing so hot here. Oh, but he's able to get out of there with the interference from the Guardians. And Shalesey's Banshees are back in the game now with an Exarch. her mighty, mighty spear. Nice grenades tossed down there. Didn't quite catch the units he was hoping for. In fact, now his Banshees are in a little bit of a dire straits. However, Chaos Heretics do run interference, and the Exarch pops at the same time to save their lives. Alright, now PhoenixLight's Uthway Farseer has been upgraded with the Singing Spear, the Armor of Fortune, and the